Hello. In this video, I'll be discussing various challenges that the Indian agriculture sector faces and what sort of reforms can be undertaken. When it comes to the state of Indian agriculture, the contribution of agriculture to Indian GDP is now just about 17%. This has come down from more than 50%. That was the case about 50 years back. During this time period, the Indian economy actually grew by about 70 times in nominal terms. But the share of the workforce, Indian workforce that is dependent on agriculture, as per 2011 census, was about 54.6%, and now it's slightly less than that in late about 45 to 46%. So in the recent past 5 years, the real income of the Indian farmers actually dropped by about 1.6%, and overall, because of this, the farmers are not enthused enough to continue with farming, and they certainly don't want the next generation at least to take up farming. So India is the largest producer of multiple agriculture produce, largest or second largest producer. But India seriously lags behind in productivity when it comes to whether rice, wheat, or most agriculture produce when it comes in comparison with even emerging economies like China. So in the recent past, the three farm laws were one of the most famous reforms that were done. And then along with that, in the past 5 years or so, there was national agriculture market that was set up. Then the crop insurance scheme was introduced. And then the honorarium Kisan Samman Nidhi was introduced. So these were done. Now, what next is the question. First and foremost, we need to have the land reforms that needs to be done in the coming years. So land digitization program is already underway. That needs to be completed at the earliest. And land pooling has to be allowed, and for that a legal framework has to be brought in, and that will help in land consolidation. That will improve the productivity as well as make it more profitable to introduce mechanization and so on. And land leasing also should be allowed, and that can go along with the land pooling, and legal framework has to be introduced. And this is very important because those who actually lease land, there is significant amount of leasing going on, but it does not have a legal framework now. Once there is a legal framework, the farmers who actually lease land for farming, they will have access to agriculture credit insurance and access to various subsidies that the government gives to make it more effective for them. Then the MSP regime that is there now has to be significantly reformed. Even though there are about 22 crops for which MSP is declared on an annual basis, the effective procurement takes place only for these three crops: rice, wheat, and cotton. And only about 6%, 6 to 15%, the figures vary. Only on that range of farmers actually benefit from the MSP that is given by the government. And lion's share of the benefit actually is in the two states of Punjab and Haryana. So this is a serious issue, and the extension of this, there is a significant amount of grain that actually rotting in FCI go downs, and the cost of procurement and so on as a result of that. So some of the measures that can be introduced are: one, decentralized procurement can be done, the state can do it, or the price deficiency payment that has been introduced can be expanded, or even the private procurement can be allowed, and the difference certainly can be given by the government. And all these should be done via direct transfer and not through middlemen and so on. Then the wide range of subsidies that are there in India needs to be rationalized and brought together and directly transferred to the farmers. Most important one is the fertilizer subsidy. And along with that, the overall farmer support in monetary terms in India is actually less. It's just about 6 to 8% of the farm receipts. So this has to go up because China, for example, gives 19%, and OECD countries about 18.2%. So India certainly needs to increase the overall support, but that has to be done via direct transfer so as to make it more efficient and effective. And once government undertakes overall subsidy rationalization, about 10 to 15,000 crores of rupees can be saved on an annual basis. The other measures can be: one, the crop and environment has to match. For example, it doesn't make sense to cultivate rice in Punjab, which is a temperate region. It's a tropical crop. And the farmers need to diversify towards high yielding crops, and also different variety of crops. And at present, the farming is cereal centric in India. Then there has to be more investment in the agri-tech, precision farming, and introducing AI and so on. The agriculture sector needs to be explored. The crop insurance scheme that is in force right now needs to be more effective, and it has to be revamped without a doubt. And there needs to be better predicting of the price and so on, so as the farmers get better market information. The market intelligence has to be beefed up. And the overall trade regime, that is export and import regime of agriculture produce, need to be improved, because knee-jerk reaction of preventing exports and imposing duties and so on should not be allowed. There should be a very predictability for the farmers, at least for 1 year, in terms of what the export policy for that particular agriculture produce should be and so on. So these are the larger measures that should be taken to improve the Indian agriculture sector over next 3 to 4 years. Thank you.